From the heart of the Cayman Islands, Jarbie is painting his own path. Discover the journey of a young rising artist. Welcome to Authentic, where real stories meet real hearts. This is your sanctuary. A space for truth, transformation, and tender conversations. Here, we unmask the pressure to perform and lean into who we really are. Whether you're searching, healing, or rising, we see you. You are allowed to look good, feel good, and leave this space feeling bold. So, take a breath, be still, and come home to you. This is Authentic. Today in Authentic, we sit with Jarbie, a young Caymanian artist navigating the journey of self-expression. Jarbie talks about what it really means to find yourself in a creative space, the struggles of figuring out your identity, and the excitement of discovering your unique voice. His story isn't about perfection. It's about trying, failing, learning, and keeping your vision alive. Listen in as Jarbie shares his experiences, his passion, and the inspiration behind his work, reminding us that finding your place is just as important as creating your art. Welcome to Authentic. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Authentic. I'm your host, Rayan, and I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode, and thank you so much for following the season. Remember to follow us on CMR TV. Follow me on social media, Coach Lorenzo _RF, to stay tuned to all the happenings on the show. Today is a very special episode because we are joined by none other than
Jarbie.
Awesome. And today's episode is all about highlighting young creatives locally in the Cayman Islands, and finding out what does authenticity really means to them. Firstly, before we get into this week's episode, I want to give a big shout out to, well, you might be wondering what's going on, what in the picnic is going on, but I want to give a special shout out to one of our official sponsors, which is Once Upon a Picnic. Once Upon a Picnic is a small business that specializes in luxury picnic setup, decorations, celebrations, weddings, special events, you name it, they've got it. So we're joined today on the 7 Mile Beach stretch. Outdoors, I know it's very different than what we're used to, but sometimes you have to step outside of the box, and that's what Authentic is all about. Anyway, so we're going to dive into our episode, and we're going to figure out who Jarbie is and what does authenticity means to him. So Jarbie, first question. I want you to tell us, who is Jarbie beyond the music, and how would you describe yourself?
Well, when I'm not around the music, I am just DeAndre, but my artist name is Jarbie. So when I'm around the music, I'm just myself, you know. I'm very creative, and I like being around people when I'm making music. You know.
Okay, awesome. And what would you say, what is one word would you say describe yourself?
Responsible.
That's
I can't really say responsible, but a lot of responsibility. So
responsible. That's a good one. I mean, that's not average for all our young people to say. Okay, keep it up, Mr. Responsible. Okay, so my second question is, what first drew you to music and the creative expression?
Well, back in the BRAC, I've been around a lot of music, and I'm an artist, and I draw, and I, record music. And I realized there was a lot of country music around the island. I was like, there's nothing else. So is there more? And I realized there was soca, there was like calypso. So I was like, what if I just started music? So I was in high school just recording on BandLab, and I started using FL Studios, and my older cousin got me onto music. So I really thank him for that, and I learned so much from him over the time what I've been doing. So yeah.
Okay, and how long you've been doing music?
Oh boy, that's been a good question. Like over 5 to 6 years by now.
5 to 6 years. Oh wow. So you started pretty early.
Yeah.
Nice. And is your family like musically inclined, or this is something that you independently just took up like as a hobby?
I would say that, yes.
So it was more of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Interesting. So my third question, how has growing up in Cayman shaped your perception as an artist?
Growing up on a small island has been very hard for me, and like to find something to do is always like a hassle for me. So what I started doing was being outside a little bit more, finding myself, and I realized that I really liked. I'm a very adventurous person, and I like being outside a lot. So just to explore around the place is just amazing.
And within this exploration, outside exploration, has there been anything that you found inspires you?
What inspires me more is family, And with family, it's like, I think about it as a music journey because it's like a story. You're telling your story throughout your music. So it's like a storybook. If you keep reading, it might be something you might learn about someone,
You might learn something. Exactly, because I would say that's the same thing for me. Within, I always say my brand is storytelling. I'm great at telling a story, but obviously you're trying to live through the visual aspect or the audio aspect or whatever else is going on. And that's why I'm focused a lot on branding and marketing, because the key thing in marketing is telling the story.
Right.
People like to hear a story. And traditionally, I mean, before social media and TVs and all of these things existed, our ancestors sat around the fireside and they told stories. So as you said, through your music, you channel the storytelling aspect, which is beautiful. And that's not really common for a lot of young people, but it's very impressive. And I will say I commend you for that. Keep it up. All right, so let's get to the critical question.
Right.
All right. What does authenticity means to you as a young creative? Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
To me, it's just being yourself, Like, we're all different people, but
Correct.
we're all the same in some little way.
We're human.
Which is really nice. And what I like about it is we all can express and be ourselves in our own little way. And that's very authentic to me, so.
I agree. We have this thing in Jamaica where we say out of many one people, and that's our motto. And it's so deep and it resonates so much, and it's obviously universal because yes, in this world we are a group of diverse people. Yeah, we're so different as people. It don't matter where we come from culturally, but by the end of the day, those human factors bridges the gap, which is love, compassion, connection. We're all searching for it. And I think that's really the core basis of what authenticity is being human, but also accepting your humanity.
Right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Okay, so have you ever felt like you had to change who you are to be accepted?
Yes. My whole life lately, and now, I feel like I had to change myself a lot, even with my parents, because they didn't really know me so much. And every day I'm just trying out something new, just trying like different clothing, hairstyles, because as an artist, I like to be creative, and not just with art, with myself. So I tried, doing something with my hair. I used to be bullied a lot. I used to have an afro and mohawk. I tried everything, And I realized that locks were something that I really liked because Bob Marley, even because he's very iconic with the locks.
Yeah. And his teachings too.
Exactly. And his music inspires a lot of people. And when people would be like, who's this guy? Oh, this guy with the lock. Ah, yes, Bob Marley. And that really inspired me a lot growing up. And he's awesome with the guitar, so.
Yeah, he's a musical icon. You know what is so coincidental? I was speaking to someone today about the aesthetics, and I said we're in a generation of such an aesthetic, people. That's we're curated to believe what is the aesthetic.
Right.
And I think although that is great and I get it, I think that also comes with a lot of carbon copying.
True.
Because when we are following the popular aesthetic, who really are you? You're following a blueprint of someone else. But what do you really want? How do you really want to dress? So you become an expression of someone else's idea. But I understand.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, like, even for me and my own experience too, and I always said it, and I said it in an interview that I did before, I was not the most confident person. People see me now and they were like, oh my God, he's so confident, he's so full of himself. But that's not what it is. I was bullied also. But it takes time for you to really accept yourself, understand who you are at your core, coming back to authenticity, why it's such a key component in who I am. And I'm trying to, inspire other people to understand that. The greatest thing you could ever do, be yourself. Nobody can be you. There'll never be another you. There's no competition, just you. And nobody can do it like you. Trust and believe. Out of 8 billion people, there will never be another Jabari. There will never be another Rayon. Never. We are uniquely created and we all have a purpose, but we just have to listen to our internal compass, which I would say, our intuition, and guide you, and you'll be on your way. But yeah, my other question is, can you share a time when you struggled with self-doubt? And how did you get through it?
My self-doubt that I was struggling with is like finding myself and finding the people who I can be myself around. So in BRAC, I didn't really had so much friends. I only had one, and the person really understand me more than anybody else could, even my parents. But it felt like, how can I fit in with people but be myself at the same time? So I kind of isolated myself a lot in my room, and I just kept drawing, and I felt like giving up. But I realized that this is not the place I want to be. So when I moved to Grand Cayman, I realized that it was more to me that I never knew. I met people who were just like me, and even when I'm in my room now, I'm like, where have these people been all my life? And I never knew that I like to socialize so much, because I used to be isolated and I used to be introverted. I'm like, oh, these people don't understand me. They won't get me. But finding people who like the same things that you like, even who knows, they don't like the same thing, but you still have like a bond,
Yeah.
And it brings all of us together,
Yeah, everybody struggles with self-doubt. As I said before, I was not the most confident person. And I'm going to keep on saying it. That is a point of authentic. It's really saying, hey, I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I am a human. I'm growing. I'm learning. I've been through it. And what better way is to live vicariously through others? The whole point, as I said, storytelling. We learn through other people's story. Just as you said, but Marley inspires us. How did we learn? From his stories, the stories he tells through his music, and really that's what it is. But trust me, I am so happy that you found that place. And that is one of the key things, is when you put yourself out there. And that's something that I am trying to teach people, that at some point, yes, you're in a stage and you're in a rut, but you don't have to stay there.
Right.
You have to make that conscious choice. This cannot be it. There must be more to what's going on. And you took the initiative, as you said, and you put yourself out there and you found your tribe. You found your tribe. Trust me. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so how does your music reflect your real life emotions or experiences?
For example, for my experiences, I felt alone, and I felt like no one gets me, And when it came along with like relationships, I am not the best, and everyone's not perfect, And I try my best a lot. And with me is, I'm very passionate about love, and I feel like everyone deserves it.
100%.
sometimes felt like what I was doing was too much. And I felt like I could have lessened down or do a little bit better. So I always tried recreating myself over and over it every time. And with my music, it's mostly used to be love songs and sad love songs. And over time, I was like, I want to tell my story with love, you know, and the trials and errors and the growth that I had throughout these errors and how I grew as a person. As you know, as my mom used to say, it's okay to make more mistakes because you know how to deal with them better, but it's always good to make less of the mistakes.
I mean, mistakes are inevitable in most cases. If
Right.
we're being correct, you know, nobody ever told us that in this world, you know, it's gonna be problem free and you're always gonna be fine
Right.
and dandy. Because even me, I'm probably the most optimistic person you'll ever meet. Yay, sunshines and rainbow. You know, even when that's not even the case, but you have to have a spark of optimism. But back to your point, what you were saying about love, and from my personal experience, what I will say to you when it comes on to love, the first thing, the key thing, you gotta love yourself.
Right.
You gotta love you for you. And you have to understand what your principles are.
Right.
Because that will be the foundation of the type of love you'll be able to give to the other person. The same way you treat yourself is the same way you're going to treat somebody else. And also, you should use this as a goal or a marker to say, hey, I treat myself with love and compassion and kindness and patience. And if I'm with somebody and they're making it seem as if I'm, you know, the aggressor, or I'm not such a good person. So I think you probably need to go back and question yourself. Exactly, is this person right for me?
Right.
Because you could do so much and you could do your best. But once it's in the realm of, as I said before, those basic components, you definitely really need to revisit the whole point or the structure of the relationship, because there's a lot of hurt people in this world that exist. And I also consider myself as an empath and a compassionate person. And you have to be very sacred on that and who you give that to. Because there are people out there in the world, which is so sad, who prey on people who are vulnerable or people who are compassionate. And that is the reason why we have a lot of hard-hearted people. They've been hurt. And some people just don't know how to heal. But what I'm going to say, what I will say to you is that don't stop loving, don't stop being open, don't stop being you. Because there's a big world out there. And I mean, there's 8 billion people. Come on, you're bound to find a few, you know what I mean? Swipe left. But but you know what I mean. But yeah, you just have to be very careful of who you give that love to.
Right.
But I would say I'm really sorry to hear that, but I feel the need to ask, have you moved past that phase? And what have you learned?
Well, I'm still in the healing process still, but I found my calling, you know, and I've been around like my friends. They helped me a lot throughout my journey and realized my self-worth.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And as a young man, because I know men, we don't really talk about it. It's like about love.
Yeah.
Like, where do you get that confidence? Well, I would say confidence or strength to own it and take the accountability and say, hey, yeah, I haven't really done some correct things and I could take that. Because a lot of men struggle with accountability and that's a big thing for us. But where does that come from and when did you really understood what was happening?
Well, I really sat down and really thought about things that I've done. I've been doing more on therapy and I've been doing a lot of critical thinking classes where situations like those that, you know, even I suffered really talked to me a little more. I really sat down and thought about it. I'm like, why didn't I sit down and think about this? What if this could have been different? Yeah. And I would like to thank God about it as well, because I really took the time and sat down and really talked to him about it. And it really helped me a lot. And the best thing that I've learned is I gave myself time. You know, time is forever, right?
Time is forever.
Mhm.
Yes. And if you had one thing to say to all the young people who might be feeling the same way or going through the same thing, I want you to look right in that camera and I want you to say, how do you feel or what advice you would give to them?
I would like to give this advice that don't ever change yourself for someone who doesn't see you for you. I would say be yourself and love yourself, obviously. Without self-loving yourself and, you know, loving the people around you, how are we going to grow as people?
Beautiful, beautiful. It is very astonishing to really hear a young, because we're from a different generation.
Right.
I mean, I'm Gen Z.
Same.
Well, I'm a little bit more of a
Yeah.
Gen Z before. Side note, I'm not that old because the way you look at me while I go, me for wonder say, wait, no man. But yeah, I am still Gen Z. I just act very old. I mean, it comes through wisdom, obviously.
Right.
And I grew with my grandma. So, I'm a little bit, whatever. But yeah, back to my point. I'm sorry for rambling. But what I will say is that it's very astonishing and it's very commendable as a young man coming to that level of understanding and consciousness and owning it. I feel like you're on the pathway of really becoming a well-grounded, solid human being.
Thank you.
And the work starts now. I started my work when I left high school when I was 17. I will tell you that. And up until this point, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. But when you've set those key foundations and concepts, those sets the tone for your life. It set the tone for your life, how people treat you, how you see yourself in the world, how you show up, how you love other people. It's very important. But I must commend you. Keep doing your thing, Jarbie. Keep doing your thing. All right, so we're trickling down to our final questions in this interview. So far, how do you feel?
I feel great. I was nervous at first, and the drive here, oh gosh. But yeah, it was really good.
It's good. You see, honesty, authenticity. What is it? The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
The more you talk about it to someone and the more you speak it out loud and you hear yourself, you realize like, hey, I'm not doing that bad. I'm a pretty cool person.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the shoulder. I would tell you that. All right, sir. So my question is, what are you learning about yourself right now as a person and as an artist?
What I'm learning about myself is that there's more to me with just doing art. You know, I realized that I was always fixated on just drawing. I'm like, just more to me, And I realized that I love sports. I love videography, photography. It's really nice, and to experience that with people who love the same thing I like, it's really good. And and even music. And I don't get to see a lot of music people over here. And now, since I've been here, because in Bragg, it's kind of like a ghost town right now.
Yeah.
But, meeting people up here and realize that they love the same thing I like, it's amazing, I'm learning different things about people's talents and activities and what their hobbies are. It's amazing.
You sound like you're becoming a socialist, Jarbie. But congratulations. I love that for you. I just want to strike on the point that you said you're trying a bunch of stuff. I mean, that's what you do in your 20s.
Right.
That's what I think a lot of people get it confused. And that's why people go into the process of the whole midlife crisis concept.
Yeah.
And this goes back to living vicariously to people. And that's something that I kind of observed when I was younger in terms of, let's look at it. Go to college, cool, get a degree, you get a job.
Right.
You work that job until You're 65,
65.
65, you
50.
retire,
Yeah.
your life done. Not done, but you know what I mean.
And it's like, what's next?
You didn't self-discover, go on the journey, try a bunch of stuff, diversify your portfolio, have all this experience. A lot of people, well, in the past, that's what it once was, sorry, where people aspire to be successful, and having a job and working continuously doesn't make you successful.
Yeah.
Having a degree don't make you successful. You know, I believe true success comes from a well-lived life. Because you know why? When you get to the end, you have no regrets.
Exactly.
Even if you haven't even lived a life that was ideal to the average person or what the aesthetic is, personally, internally, at your core, you're contented with contentment. If anything, anyone should leave from this interview, anything is contentment. That's the word. You want to be contented with yourself. The decisions you've made, the people you've met, the things you've done. And sometimes you don't even know what is the overall goal because nobody has the answers. But back to your point, you've tried it. You've done it. At least you could say, oh, well, been there, done that. At least I know that doesn't work for me.
Right.
You give yourself room to evolve, room to grow, room to fail, room to try again. That's what life is really about. There's this powerful quote that I heard that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know? They're trapped by the things of the world and what is really happening.
Right.
But it comes back to what you said. Self-exploration. Have fun. Do it. Try it. And you'll figure out what you really like. And also be authentic at the same point. But that's really what it's about. So I have my last question.
You're right.
Right? And I'm interested to hear what do you say on this point. All right. So what message do you hope your story and your music send to other people, young people in Cayman? And I want you to look direct in the camera.
For me, I would say that smooth sails don't make skilled sailors. You know? Yeah.
You know what? Drop a blank there. Where's button? I feel like I need some buttons. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Like some boards. But yeah, with saying that, why I say smooth sails don't make skilled sailors
Yes.
is a quote that me and my high school students, like my colleagues,
Yeah.
did for as a poster. We always make these type of shields for when we're graduating in 2023 or any year for graduation. That stick to me a lot because, you know, over what we're doing, we're not gonna be good at it
No.
at first, but over time, you get the hang of it. Even things that you want to do, you know, it might feel like just a dream, but you can make that a reality, you know? Yeah.
I agree with you. Beautiful. And what would you say to other young people in Cayman who probably feel the same way and struggling with what does it really mean to be authentic, to be themselves, struggling from self-doubt, the pressure to fit in, the pressure to be a part of, you know, the norm? What would you say to them? Because you were once there, and I mean, you're in your transitional period, and I mean, you're constantly learning. But up until this point of your journey, what would be your message to those people?
What I would say is don't ever cancel yourself out. Never be afraid to tell someone how you're feeling or what's going on in your mind. Because who knows, that person can change your life. And, you know.
Well said. Well said, Mr. Jarbie. Well, in closing, I would say you heard it here first. None other than Jarbie, young creative, change maker, move shaker. I look forward to really hearing your progress, and commendations to you I wish you the best. I will tell you what a previous mentor of mine said to me.
Right.
You have great things coming for you. Stay on the path. Remember to be authentic. Remember the path's not always going to be smooth sailings, but be consistent. Love what you do. Love hard. Learn to forgive. Remember that time heals.
All wounds.
I'm sorry?
All wounds.
Time heals.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, that is subjective.
Yeah.
Time doesn't heal wounds. You know, it actually doesn't. You have to, the first thing on that aspect, you really have to accept it. Radical acceptance, I would say. In terms of healing, radical acceptance. You just have to accept the situation for what it is because you can't change it.
Right.
You have to forgive yourself in the process and forgive the other person. And sometimes things are just not meant to be.
Right.
If it's meant to be, it will be. You can't force somebody to stay. You can't force somebody to love you. Trust me, the people who want to stay will stay.
Right.
The people who want to love you will love you. So don't go chasing paper planes. Be you. The right people will come. Okay, so that was a interesting interview.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy my time speaking with you, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for being a part of Authentic, and you're on your way, as I said before. Anyways, so I want to say in closing, thank you guys so much for joining us today for another episode of Authentic, the show that we speak and dive into the real issues. We talk about the stories of the change makers, the move makers, as I said before. And we had one here today, Jarbie, as a perfect example of what does it mean to be authentic, locally battling with self-doubt, self-discovery, and really going on his path and figuring out what does authenticity really means to him. I'm your host, Rayan. I want to say before I go, a big shout out again to Once Upon a Picnic, the premier destination for beach setup, birthdays, holidays, proposal, special events. You call them, they've got it. So I want to shout out to the team and thank them so much for our beautiful setup today. And you will be seeing me more connecting with them because, as they would say, the picnic a picnic. So I look forward to the current partnership. Anyways, stay authentic. Joining you 4:45. I'm kidding. It's night. From the stretch of the 7 Mile Beach in Grand Cayman. I'm Rayan.
And I'm Jarbie.
Stay authentic and stay true. Until next time.